Yo, 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 what's up? Can you guys hear me okay? Uh-oh. Hope the mic is working. Check, check. Yeah, hey, we got it. Right? Anybody in the chat? Sweet. All right, guys. Welcome to the first full flap sim live stream, taking the beautiful PMDG American Airlines 737-800 from Vegas down to LA. I gotta say, I think this is my favorite livery on the PMDG, and we'll forgive the fact that it's got winglets. But anyway. All right. So, jumping in the cockpit. V1 called. He's running late, stuck in the Starbucks line, getting his pumpkin spice latte, so the first officer's going to have to do all the work. Pretty standard. So we'll jump in here and we'll get the airplane all powered on, get the battery going, checking for some volts. All right, we got 23 volts. That's plenty. We got standby power is closed. Bus transfer switch is closed. APU bleeds off. Engine bleeds are on. Got the packs off. Landing gear. We got 6 green lights. Landing gear handles down. Hydraulic pumps are off. Flaps are up, and they match the position. Alternate flap switch is guarded with the electric switch off, and then we can give the ground power a look and get it on the bus. All right. Some volts, 22, I think is the book answer, but yeah, for our purposes, some. Okay, power's coming up, and then on the upper overhead, there are tests that we need to do that require the power to be applied for up to 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin up the INSs, and then we're going to jump outside and do some of the outside stuff. All right. Hey, V1 in the chat. Heard you're stuck out getting your pumpkin spice latte. Don't worry, I'll get the jet set up for you, man. I got the whole peanut gallery here to help me out, so we'll see how it goes. All right. We'll jump back in the cabin, and first thing that we have to do is check the water and waste. Run all the way back to the back of the plane here. Yeah, you get to see all the setup that the FO does before the captain shows up. All right, so water and waste panel on most NGs is right here, where PMDG has a couple of flight attendant jump seats, but we check that, make sure it's good, and it looks like they're servicing it right now. So then we'll walk back up to the front and go get the pre-flight knocked out. Mickey, what's up, dude? All right, heading down. We'll mosey outside. Got the OG Boeing driver himself, so I can't mess this up too bad. All right, PMDG actually did a really good job on this model. So they've got the air temperature probe modeled here. Yeah, water. Yeah, I run 1.5 miles a year. Checking the pitot probe and the angle of attack probe, and then just the condition of the radome, and then jumping out here. External power panel, really well modeled actually, and this light tells the ground when it's in use. So in theory, ground shouldn't pull this unless the power is not in use and we've taken it over inside. In reality, they just smack the side of the fuselage, look up for a thumbs up before they pull it. All right, and then coming here, looking at the nose landing gear. This was actually really cool. They modeled the snubber, so when you retract the landing gear, you get a very unique sound as the nose wheel spins to a stop against these snubbers. And in real life, you just have to make sure that there's no bolts protruding through the actual snubber pads that would tear the tire up. But I thought it was kind of cool that PMDG has that modeled. So coming out from under the nose gear, and then just checking to make sure that the static ports are clear. Loading the bags up. Landing lights. So this airplane is older, so it's got the retractable landing lights down here, and then the fixed landing lights as well as the runway turn-off lights. This model is fantastic, and I didn't realize it until I learned how to use the drone cam and really spent some time going around the outside. All right. Looking at the back of the engine, making sure everything's clear. Water, V1 doesn't do walkarounds, man. He's a captain. He has people for that. So we'll walk around outside, looking at the overall condition of the cowling, the fan blades, checking for bird strikes, checking the temperature probe out here. And then at this point, I'll actually crouch down and look at the cowl latches on the other engine right here. Because it's difficult to get low enough to see them on the engine you're around. So I'll take a look at the other engine and make sure the cowl latches are done. And then when we get on this side, then we'll check them on this side. All right, coming around outside, the slats. So you can see here, you've got outlets for the bleed air. The slats are anti-iced by the bleed air system. And the outlet, the exhaust, if you will, for that bleed air is these little holes in the bottom of the slat. All right. What's the blue line in the engine? That's an acoustic liner that's around the outside of the fan blade. All right. So just checking the condition of the slats here. You'll notice that slat numbers 1 and 8, so the outboard slats, do not have any bleed ducts, and that's because the outboard slats are not de-iced, which is why you can't hold in icing conditions in the NG. In the classics, in the original 7.3s, they were anti-ice, but not in the NG when they extended the wing. Coming out here to the winglet. Come on, PMDG, get rid of that thing. Walking around, so the static wicks should be 2 on each wing. Check the pause lights, make sure the fuel vent is clear. And then looking at the ailerons. Condition, general condition of the wing, as well as the flap. And then this is where I kind of realized that PMDG really went nuts on some of the details. So these pins are brake wear indicators. And you want to make sure that they're protruding because they indicate that you have enough brake left. As long as you can catch this rod, it retracts into this housing, and as long as you can catch this with your fingernail, you've got sufficient brake left for the flight. And I thought it was cool that PMDG modeled this. And then also check to make sure that the strut has some extension. All right, chat. Here's the question of the stream. Can anyone tell me what this is? It's accurately modeled, and it's there on the real airplane. So, anyone tell me what that is? And then we'll jump up in the wheel well, and it's pretty dark, but you can actually see that PMDG's modeled the hydraulic reservoirs. We have the Hide A system up here, Hide B right here, as well as a lot of the control cables and lines. And then the APU shutdown. That doesn't look like they modeled the APU shutdown system, but that's right here. In real life. All right, so we'll duck out without getting the shirt covered in dirt and grime. And then we're just looking at this. Gustavo, the flat thing. No, this little protrusion right here on the outboard edge of the wheel well, this guy that the mouse is pointing at. Right. Looking at overall condition, back of the airplane, make sure the doors are closed if they're not being used. Looks like the lab is being serviced. This is the outflow valve. So make sure that that is clear, as well as the overpressure and underpressure release. If you flip the wheel well switch in the wheel bay, does the switch move in the overhead panel? I don't think the wheel well switch is... Oh, in the real airplane, no. They're totally separate switches in the actual airplane. But PMDG actually did model the light. I just forgot to turn it on. Fractality, let's see, some type of sensor to determine if the gear is stowed. Close. Close, but not quite. This is the APU inlet with the vortex generator. And then just checking the overall condition of the stab here on the 800. Super important 737 feature right here. Making sure that the tail skid is in one piece, and then making sure that this green area right here is present, because if you have a tail strike, I mean, you'll see damage to the actual skid, but there's a cartridge in here that gets compressed, and the way that you can tell it's compressed is that this green stripe is actually up inside the tail skid. So if you don't have green stripe showing here, let maintenance know so that you don't get blamed for the tail strike. Gustavo, yep, nailed it. It's something that detects when you have a damaged tire. So if you blow a tire on takeoff, you saw how many hydraulic lines and things are up in the wheel well. If you raise the landing gear, the idea is that the damaged tire will break that sensor, and it will remove up hydraulic pressure from the landing gear, and it'll fall back down into place. So it's a hydraulic fuse to keep the landing gear from retracting with a damaged tire that's going to destroy things inside the wheel well. Yeah, agree. This is probably my favorite 737 livery so far, until Whiskey makes one that's just covered in grease and grime. All right, so we got static wicks and static wicks here as well. APU exit looked good, and then this side of the airplane is the same as the other one, with a couple exceptions. Make sure there's no drips coming out of the APU hydraulic and fuel shroud, and then we would check the brake wear indicators again right here on this landing gear, and we'll keep walking around. Fuel vent, winglet. These are vortilons, so they create a vortex that goes back over the ailerons and helps aileron effectiveness at approach speeds. The Max actually has more of these, so it makes the ailerons more effective, specifically for flap 40 landings in the Max. All right, checking this engine out. And then we'll check the cowling latches on the bottom of this cowl. And one more set of static ports. There we go. And back in the cockpit. I always love this view right here. Just kind of highlights how big these airplanes are. No, Steven, full flap 40. We're setting a brand. All right, and back in the jet. Okay, so getting set up in the flight deck here. We'll throw our flight kit in the cockpit, and then we'll check the circuit breakers. So the red collared circuit breakers typically are pulled out when the airplane is secured, and then the other colors have relevance during some emergency procedures. So we'll just check and make sure that all the circuit breakers are reset, and then we'll jump in the seat. Water duty calls. See you, man. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, so we'll sit down, get our tablet plugged in. Got our SimBrief flight plan and the weather, and then we'll start with the pilot monitoring stuff, since V1's still waiting for his coffee, and then go from there. So make sure all the flat position lights work. IRSs are spun up, and they're ready to take an alignment. Making sure that we have 1,000 PSI in the oxygen, no lights on the engine panel, and then we'll check the Mach airspeed warning, both sides. Flight recorder, check is good, and then check the stick shakers, and we need to run the right side stick shaker for about 6 seconds to reset a spoiler valve. All right. Coming down here, all the flight control switches are down and guarded. Alternate flaps are closed with the switch off. Yaw damper can come on. Nav and display switches are normal. Coming down here, the spar and the engine fuel valves are open. Fuel temperature shouldn't be a problem today out of Vegas. Crossfeed's closed. Fuel pumps, we'll come back to that when we fire up the APU. Electrical panel is all set. I'm going to set that to APU generator so we can check the quality of the power once the APU is up. Cabin and in-flight entertainment is up. Generators are off. That's all fine. Coming down here, close the emergency exit lights, passenger signs, and then we'll get the window heats on. Probe heats can stay off. No anti-ice today. Electric high pumps will be off. All the doors that are open right now. We'll test the CBR. All right, that checks good. And then trim air's on. These are way too high, so this is 90% of a 737 FO's job, is keeping the cabin temperature checked. So we'll get these all cooled down on the ground. We'll set that to forward. Bleed air panel, so we don't need any of the bleeds on. The packs are off. Isolation valves open with the APU bleed off because we are running off of ground air right now. We'll set our cruise altitude of 26,000, and we are going to LA, which is, let's see, 128 feet, so we'll set 150 in the pressurization panel. Gustavo, the vulture horn in the 200, yeah, it's really loud when you test them. So usually when we start doing this flow, we'll tell the other guy, hey, we're going to make some noise because it's kind of obnoxious. No, auto. Well, so auto. The reason this says auto is you're not physically controlling. In theory, it works like your car would, where you can set a temperature on these switches, and the system will automatically regulate the actual temperature of the air coming out of the packs or out of the heater to set the temperature that you want. So it is technically automatic, but in that you're not actually physically moving cold and hot air valves. But on the ground, you basically need them full cold, and then we've got default places. People usually scratch the default positions for that airplane into the paint, and then you go from there. But you end up using this maybe 5 or 6 times a flight till you get it right. Outflow valve, make sure that's in the center position where it's spring loaded, and then the pressurization mode selector is in auto. There's an alternate in the manual system, but this is a very important switch, so it needs to be in automatic. Lights, we'll turn the logo light on, position light. Those are all set. We'll start, first flight of the day, you want the right igniter because it runs off the standby electrical system. So you want to verify that it is functioning, and then on subsequent flights, we'll just swap it based on who's flying. Coming down the mode control panel, get the flight directors on. I'm flying today, so we'll put the FO as the master, and then everything is zeroed out. We'll take care of that when we start planning for the actual flight. Checking the lights on the overhead, make sure that everything is good to go as far as the lights. Oh man, this is cool. So if you do find a light burned out, there's actually a spare bulb thing right here, and you just hit this latch, pull this out, and there's 3 or 4 of every single light bulb in the cockpit on the back side of this plate. You take it out, get the bulb you need, pull the light bulb out, replace it, and then stick this back in. And then when you get to a maintenance station, you can call maintenance, and they'll give you another light bulb. But everything looks good for now on the lights test. Alright, those are good. Standby instruments are all set. Speed reference and N1 set. These will set the bugs if for some reason the FMC is not working, and so you can set these to automatic if the FMS is working. If it's not, then you would use these to reference your speed reference, your approach speeds, and then your N1 bugs. Reset the fuel flow. Then we'll check good oil quantity, and then hydraulic quantity looks good as well. Auto brake, we need some brake pressure, so we'll use the B pump, get the brake pressure coming up. In real life too, the yoke tends to kind of flop around in the wind unless the system is pressurized. So once you get B pressure, the yoke kind of snaps to its neutral position, and then you can turn the B pump back off. Good brake pressure. Get the brakes on, and then run a quick jip whiz test. Landing gear handles down. Speed brakes are up. Flaps are up. Takeoff warning checks good. Set the parking brake. Start levers are cut off. Stab trim cutout switches are normal. And then we'll run the fire test. So check the squib bottles. And then check the fault in-op lights. These two. And then you should have 11 lights and a bell with the fire. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then there was an overheat light as well. And then the cargo fire checks good. Weather radar is in op. In PMDG, we'll set this to zeros for now. Now we'll set in a random transponder code. And then rudder trim and aileron trim. Check those, and we are all set. All right, so diving into the FMS. Yeah, an analog temp gauge. Actually, how do you do temperature in the Airbus? Is it a digital controller? I've never looked at it. It's always freezing, probably because I'm flying and I get busy after the pre-flight and I forgot to warm it up. Team Vodka maintenance takes care of that. So it's kind of on the crew that uses a light bulb to write a gripe and put it in the book, and then maintenance will stock it up. Yeah, the line at the donut shop is probably super long because we still have no captain. All right, ACARS, we would set that up here, and then we'll jump into the FMS. All right, pausing it. We're going LAS. Then we'll grab GPS left. Stick it in there. Go to routes. And we're going to use data link to load this. So we'll go SimBrief route. Easy button for payload and fuel. Select the route, and we'll let the data link cook. Oh, dude, coffee holder? Right there. Yeah, donut holder, your lap. Actually, you can put the trays on the glare shield, and they kind of sit there pretty well. All right, load. Going out as American 1911. Thought that was an appropriate call sign today. All right, activate and execute. Okay, so interesting thing about the flight plan loading is it only loads the points that are not associated with a SID or a star. So in this case, 2, Shatner and Black, which are the endpoints of our SID and star. So we're taking off out of LAS off of 26 right via the Raider 2 to Black. So Raider 2, Black transition, execute that. We're landing on 25 left. Circus transition via the Angel from Shatner. And we'll activate all of that. Okay, going to the route page. Perfect it. We'll grab this off the data link as well. Steven, yeah, flight deck sim, except I also don't have the cool British accent. Ever see the coffee cup on the fuel cutoff switch in the flight? Yes, I did, V1, and I think they got fired for that. Or something. I don't think the company liked that very much. I heard it didn't go well for them. Okay, so we'll load the performance, and just because SimBrief has got me a couple times, I'll double check it. So we got 132.6 132.6, reserves are 4.9, that checks good. Cost index 5, no, we're not doing that. 65, and the cost index going up to 260. Yep, that's already in the box. Cruise winds, those are all fine, and execute. All right, now we'll go to the legs route data page, and we'll get the winds. Gustavo, I do. My colleague is out of the room right now. He's probably going to pull the internet cable off once we get midstream, because I think my wife's got the toddler under control. But yeah, I didn't think about the dog. All right, cruise wind, that's ready, so we'll load it. And execute. And then descent, forecast, load. All right. We can also preload the QNH. Let's see, LAX 2984. It really only matters if the pressure is higher, but it's a good habit to get into to just put it in. All right, and now we can kind of do our FMS check. And so we can start with the progress page and go, all right, 226 nautical miles of air distance, and that's exactly what SimBreeze says that we should have. So the FMS is probably loaded correctly. And we should have 7.5 of gas at LAX. Our alternate is Ontario, which we don't need an alternate today, but just for argument's sake, we'll put it in here in the alternates page. It already loaded. We're going to put it in the second time, though, because, and I'll show you why. So this via, the D, is direct. So that implies that you go to LAX, you don't shoot an approach, you see that the airfield is clobbered in with weather, whatever, and you go directly to Ontario, and you should land with 9.4. If you shoot the approach and go missed, now, via the mist, you see that the fuel on board at Ontario is significantly less. So what this is telling us is we can fly the flight plan route to LA, shoot the approach, fly the published mist, then go to Ontario and land with a 6.6. That's plenty of gas for our purposes today, but this is a good planning tool if the weather is a little worse. Okay, so check the progress page. Then we'll step through all of our VNAV pages. So climb, we'll just climb at 300.78, and then we'll cruise at 0.79, and then we'll descend at 0.79 or 300. There we go. Then we'll go to the route page, verify all this. Oh boy, bandwidth is too low. Ruh-roh. Toddler must have grabbed the internet cable. Ignore. All right, Las Vegas to LAX, American 1911 off of 26 right. And Raider 2 to black, direct Shatner for the Angel. 4 circus transition to 25 left, that's all correct. Then we'll go to legs page and we'll go plan mode on the HSI. And we'll step through all the fixes. And just verify that there's no discontinuities or anything like that in the route. All right, that looks good. And then the final thing we have to do is there is an engine out departure out of Las Vegas for us. So we'll build that in the fix page, and it's effectively, if you lose the engine before the Las Vegas 3DME fix, so we're taking off to the west. There's mountains out in this direction, so if we lose the engine prior to this fix, then once we'll maintain flap configuration to 3DME, then we'll start a left-hand turn to a 045 heading, and then we'll pick up the 066 radial out to Kids, and then we'll hold at Kids and figure out our life. So That is built in the FMS. All right, so the FMS is done, and we can go into a quick brief. Let's see, AJ, yeah, they got canned. SpiceJet had previous beverage-induced. Yeah, so I was actually really surprised when I got to the airlines and I found out that you could hand a drink over the over this panel, because there's a lot of electronic stuff here. And so my dad was a military flight engineer and said that if they handed drinks to the crew, they had to go around the side of the outside of the cockpit to avoid handing drinks over the electronics panel. So I was kind of surprised when I got to the airlines that we didn't care about that. Steven, don't worry, you'll be leasing a crappy office with crappier internet just like V1 in no time. Yeah, hopefully the roof doesn't cave in on me. I don't know if I have that level of dedication yet. All right, we'll hold. Oh yeah, oof. Strike that from the record. Okay, for the brief, we're taking off out of Las Vegas. Weather looks good. Winds are calm. 10 statute miles, clear, hot, 34 degrees, 2997. We'll use the Magic Bear ref key, which I need to turn on live weather, don't I? There we go. Okay, 2997. Weather looks good. No notams. For the abnormals and aborts, I do have random failures triggered. So below 80 knots, we'll abort for anything that we don't like. Above 80 knots, fear, fire, failure, or shear. And then past V1, just fear that the airplane won't go flying. Abort will be standard. Throttles come to idle. Check the speed brakes come up. And then we'll let RTO do the work, bring the airplane to a stop. Once we come to a stop, we'll stow the speed brakes, flaps to 40, check the doors, and then we'll start running the QRH and determining whether or not we have to evacuate. FO will call the tower, captain will tell the passengers to stay seated, and then we'll go from there. For the runway, we're taking off on runway 26 right. There we go. 26 right, which is 14,500 feet long, and we're gonna pick up the Raider departure. Top altitude is 190. So we'll set that in the mode control panel here. All right, so we're going to do check the Raider. All these points have been QA'd in the box. Rudy is our max speed of 230 knots above 4,000 feet, and then Raider above 13. For the taxi, we're at gate C, or D7, I believe. Okay, gate D7, so we'll push here. We'll start 2. We'll taxi via Charlie to 26 right, full length. And expect takeoff for full length. For terrain, we do have terrain. If we have an issue, as well as threats, we're going to set up to come back via the ILS for 26 right. So that'll be 110.3. And then we'll set a VOR frequency in here so we don't have to worry about it. All right, 110.3 is set, and then 259 on the courses, and then that's the runway heading as well. So 259, 259, and then our heading is also going to be 259. In Brazil, all operators prohibit liquids over the pedestal. They have to be handled from behind in weird fashion. Yeah, Gustavo, that's kind of what I had assumed we would do as well. Just, you know, because I mean, if you spill coffee on the pedestal, you can take out, you know, both all your radios, your transponder. Yeah. So, okay, got that heading. That's all dialed in. It's a beautiful VFR day, so I'm not going to worry about putting the minimums in. And the MSA is going to be 6,600. Also, we're going to turn terrain on for the departure to help us out with terrain avoidance. And that should be it. Any questions of the brief? No questions. Captain is still MIA. Local FAA also makes sure it's in the training for, yeah, that makes sense. Back in the, oh jeez. All right, so we'll knock out the pre-flight check real quick after I check my indicator lights. Those are good. Jib whiz, that's guarded, and then check the oxygen mask. All right, pre-flight checklist, here we go. FO reads it, captain verifies. All right, pre-flight checklist. Interior and exterior inspection is complete. Circuit breakers are checked. NAM display switches are normal and auto. The passenger signs are on. Window heats are on. Engine bleed air switches are on. Pressurization panel is set. Pressurization mode selector is auto. Mode control panel, let's see, that's set. I'm flying. Oxygen masks are checked. Altimeters 2997 cross-check. Flight nav instruments are checked. So flight director is on. No V speeds. TCAS off, and a good platform. Well, LNAV off the runway. So LNAV is armed. Flight nav instruments are checked. Warning and necessary lights are checked. Speed brake is down. Takeoff warning is checked and closed. Engine start levers are cut off. Stab trim cutout switches are normal. Fire warning is checked. Radios and transponders are set. Radars in op. Rudder and aileron trim are free and zero. The parking brake is set. Windows are closed and locked. Flight attendants have been briefed. Departure briefs complete. Logbook and QRHs are on board, and fuel required is, let's see, block fuel 11.3, on board 11.3. Pre-flight checklist is complete. All right. Now, we don't do packs on, packs off takeoffs here. We do full flap landings and derated takeoffs so that we get the low transition off the end of the runway. But it is getting warm in the back, so we'll start a fuel pump and fire up the APU. Packs off takeoff. Also, a packs off takeoff is a complete pain in the butt in the 7.3 because you have to manually work the bleed panel. But we'll definitely do one. But today I don't think that we need to use the whole runway. Yeah, dude. For the plane spotters at the end. Next time you're plane spotting, take a look. And it's kind of funny how every airliner is off the ground by midfield, and then the 737s are limping off the departure end of the runway. All right, here we go. We got APU is spooling up here. Generator, APU generator power check's good, so we'll put that on the bus, which automatically disconnects the ground power, and then we'll start the clock for a 2-minute timer before we get ground air gone. Okay, in the meantime, the ground peeps are finishing up outside. Isolation to close. No, I've got the isolation valve open right now, Gustavo. Or are you saying, oh, single engine taxi? So for this configuration right now, we have the isolation valve open. So what they're talking about is this isolation valve will effectively separate the left and right bleed air systems. The APU runs the left side. The only threat here being that if you have the engine and the APU bleed on and you run the engine up above idle, there's a check valve here, but if it fails, you could back pressure the APU bleed and damage it. So if you're single engine taxiing, you can do it a couple of ways, but you can either turn the bleed off on the left engine, turn the APU bleed on, or if you're on the right engine, you can just close the isolation valve, which is the typical way to do it. Isolation valve closed for bleeds off takeoff. I believe so. I'd have to get in the book for the bleeds off takeoff because that's not a memory item for us. So we just run it off the checklist since it's so rare. All right. let's see. Let's get the potable water at the lab. Fuel truck gone. Galley cart's gone. And the baggage to go. All right. So we'll say that baggage loading is pretty much complete, and we can run our takeoff numbers. So taking off of McCarran, 26 right. There's the elevation. Import from the aircraft. Anti-ice is off. Weight 143.9. That checks. CG. We'll import the weather and calculate. Flaps 5. Nope, we want flaps 1. Flaps 1, longer takeoff roll, more juice. According to father on the 732, said it was preferred to do a PAX off, and that to even use the APU bleed for takeoff. Got it. Yeah. So we will typically do a bleeds off takeoff as opposed to a PAX off takeoff. Well, not necessarily. It depends on the situation, but we can do both. But whichever one you decide to do, you'll just run it off of the. It's a read and do checklist out of the vol one when you do it. Okay, here we go. Acceleration height 1,000 feet, flaps 1. So we can start plugging this in. So we'll verify this. Gross weight of 143.9. 143.9. That checks good. N1 limit is going to be takeoff 52. All right, there's TO 52. That gives us full climb power. Takeoff, flaps 1. CG at 25.3. That's trim of 4.6. Here comes the trim. And that's showing me 146, 148, and 50. 46, 48, and 50. Performance data agrees, and we'll set V2 in the window. There we go. Performance data is complete. All right, there's our 2 minutes on the bleed air panel, so we can open up the APU bleed and turn the packs on. And we can get rid of all the rest of the ground services stuff. All right. Get her all closed up here. Okay, doors are going to come closed. Close the front door, forward the one left door, and then release the jetway. All right, then we got AJ sitting in his wing view here. I love this livery. It's just dirty enough to be interesting. Vodka, we can single engine taxi if you want. Yeah, why not? Let's do a single engine taxi. I said we'd start 2, but why not? We'll make it more interesting. Oh, I think they had that preference because they also had 727s. So it would make it less likely that someone removed the pneumatics on the 727 that controls the reverse and the 3-horn. Yeah, that would be important, Gustavo. So there's a lot of stuff that I've found that maybe not be it may not be the ideal way to do it on that airplane, but for fleet commonality, the pubs are written that way. So that makes complete sense. Vodka, yeah. Well, dude, it was pretty recently that Alaska had a catering truck run into the back of their fuselage, I think, right? See that video? I think we have one baggage handler who's not leaving here. There we go. Get rid of them. Oh, AJ, you sit up front? Gross. So, let's see. What do you sit up here? Dust in the back with the non-reps. All right, there we go. All right, we got the AJ view set up there. Yeah, wow, these guys take forever to move. Let's go. Got places to be. Okay, but all the doors are complete. They've locked us in. Doors closed, so we can do the pushback flow. So we'll get the fuel pumps on. No center fuel, hydraulic pumps, doors, flight deck door, and the TCAS. All right, pushback checklist. Doors closed, hydraulic panel is set, fuel panel is set, flight deck doors closed and locked, transponder is in transponder. Pushback check is complete. Is it just me or the the PMDG ground services they're not good. They're kind of dated, straight out of FSX. Looks like they're gone now though. So we'll go pushback, do 90 degrees, nose right, that's fine. Get the big 747 tug, and we'll start it. If you pull the chocks, they vanish. Yeah, I tried that one time, Vodka, and the cart just followed me around.
Roger that. Ready for pushback. Tail to the left. Release brake, please.
All right, beacons on, brakes release, clear to push.
Brake.
Here we go, off the gate. Only took 45 minutes. Yeah, I had a baggage loader following me around on the taxiway because I hid the chocks before he had driven away and disappeared. All right. Cap says start up the right. So we're going to turn the packs off, and then we'll hit the starter on the right and hack the clock. Start valve opens. And we're looking at N2. Needs to be above 25%, but you don't introduce fuel until the motoring, max motoring ceases. So max motoring being an increase in of 1% RPM. All right, there we go. There's max motoring. Check the spar valve and the engine valves. Go bright blue and then dark blue. Now check the clock. We need light off in 10 seconds.
Parking brake, please.
There it goes. Set the parking brake.
Brake set.
Okay, good light off.
Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute and release from guidance on your right. Have a good flight.
Okay, starter cutout. Good start, 2, 4, 6, 6. Anti-ice is not required. Isolate and ventilate. And then we're going to do a single engine taxi. So we'll do right generator on, probes come on, no anti-ice, hides are set. And then here is where we will, since the left engine is still off, we can keep the APU on and run the left pack off the APU with the isolation valve closed. Come across here, leaving the APU on for the next engine start. A recall, we should have three lights when we recall. So we got 1, 2, 3, electric hide and air conditioning. That's set for a single engine taxi. And then we'll set flap 1. Mickey, is it the same parking brake as the 707? All right, taxi check, or sorry, after start checklist. The right generator is on, probe heat is on, Anti-ice is not required. Air conditioning panel is set for single-engine taxi. The recall is checked. Auto brakes are RTO. After start checklist is complete. Okay, and then the captain's looking outside, make sure that all the ground equipment is gone, which it is. So he'll say salute received, flap 1. Flap lever is 1. Call for taxi. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's such a satisfying thunk when it disengages. All right, stop the clock. And here we go. I can't do it, AJ. I got to do the flight control check from the back. I can't take it. I wanted to, but I can't do it. All right, here we go. Forward, aft, left, and right. Flight controls check good. Is the right engine bleed on or off? It's on. The engine bleeds are both on. So we've got the right bleed is running the right pack. The isolation valve is closed, so these two are running each. This engine is running the pack, and then the APU is running the left pack with the left engine off. And we'll run over this van. All right, taxi check. Flaps are set 1. And indicating 1. 111, green. Takeoff speeds, 46, 48, 50 is set. Thrust is takeoff 52. Stab trim is 4.6, and flight controls are checked. Taxi check is complete. And we'll start up engine number 1. Left pack's coming off, ground the starter, and start the clock. Vodka, so it's mainly just this switch, so the bleeds are actually run pneumatically. So if I close, since there's no bleeder coming off the engine, if I close this switch, it wouldn't actually close the valve anyway. So we just leave them on. All right, there's max motoring. That comes on. Check the lights. They go out. Light off in 10 seconds. There's light off. Yes, because Boeing. Alright, starter cutout. Good start. Looks good. And that's all complete. Set the air panel up. Turn that off. And now we should have no lights. Air conditioning. The duct pressure hadn't come up yet. Air conditioning. Let's see, on. Those, oh, we got a zone temp light. Alright. So, because I had this down for so long, we had the zone temp fault, so we will reset these. And trip reset, it should go out. There it is. Alright. There we go. Alright, recall is checked. Delayed after start checklist. Left generator's on. Anti-ice is not required. Air conditioning panel is checked now. And the recall is checked. Delayed after start checklist is complete. Alright, we call the back, sit them down, make sure that they're all good, and then we give a brief to the other crew member. So we're taking off out of Las Vegas, runway 26 right via the Raider 2 black transition. First fix is Rudy, 230 knot speed restriction, 4,000 feet. Top is 19, and we're L9 up there. All right, and then we'll do our before takeoff flow. Okay, check the fuel. 11.1, that's more than our min-fuel for takeoff. Alright, check the takeoff warning. And before takeoff checklist. Runway position, 26 right, full length outside, 26 right, full length inside. Flaps are 1 and 1, green. Nav briefing is complete. Takeoff warning is checked. Auto throttle is armed. Engine start switches are continuous. Transponder is TARA, and the flight attendants are notified and acknowledged. Before takeoff checklist is complete. Alright. And then mid-fuel for takeoff, just to verify, was 10.8. We have 11.0. Alright, last look at the chat here before things start to get busy. Gustavo, yeah, froze the sensor with the cold air. It sounds strange because you mentioned if the engine bleeds. Yeah, so you'll actually see that you can have a dual bleed light. That would come on right here when the APU bleed is running and on. But yeah, we typically just leave these open and use the isolation valve to protect the open system. And like Gustavo says, there is a check valve right here, but you just never want to rely on the check valve. Ryan 5023, no, we do not have range arcs on our MFDs. Just the tick marks right here. All right, here we go. So we're clear for takeoff. Light them up. Captain runs that side. FO runs this side. And we're clear for takeoff. Here we go. All right, AJ, see you, man. We're sitting in the back since you're leaving. Don't crash. All right, here we go. Spool them up to 40%. And yoga. All right, forward pressure on the yoke. And one toga. $80 knots. Throttle hold. Thrust normal.
V1, rotate.
Nice gentle rotation. Hold the attitude.
Positive rate of climb.
You're up. Up into the command bars. Watch yours. Alright, 1,000 feet, VNAV comes on. VNAV speed. And then we'll fly through the flight directors and go down to about 10 degrees of pitch to get the airplane accelerating. Flaps up after takeoff check. I'm going to delay the after takeoff check till we're a little higher and I can actually look at what I'm doing. Gustavo, that's me trimming. There's our 230 knot restriction, above 4,000 feet. Let's accelerate to 250. Now we got to be below 8. Alright, we'll go Command B. There goes the autopilot. We'll do the after takeoff checklist. NES is not required. Air panel is set. Pressurization looks good. Pressurizing. AP was off. Auto brakes come off. Flaps are up. No lights. Gears up and off. Fuel check's good. After takeoff checklist is complete. Haven't crashed yet. Good first day of streaming. Yeah, but we haven't landed yet, so give it time, my friend. Give it time. Okay, past the restriction of cells, we're back to VNAV speed and N1. Up we go. Is this the channel where legal landings happen? We'll see. I'm not going to make any promises yet. I'm just glad that my computer is not crashing to its knees with the OBS profile and streaming and all the other stuff. All right, climbing through 10. Checking the cab pressurization. Easiest way to do that is just check the big needle here, which is the differential. So this is the cabin differential on the outside of the gauge and the cabin altitude on the inside. So you should just see this differential slowly climbing as the airplane does. So as long as this big needle is swinging, you're probably pressurizing. And then climbing through 10, we'll turn the retracts off as we accelerate above 250. Taxi light's up in the nose wheel well, so it's already off. And the wheel well light is also off. The taxi light and the wheel well light are the captain and first officer's kind of clear to land or clear to take off lights that function as a reminder. So the first officer uses this one, clear to take off, turn it on, clear to land, turn it on. And then same thing with the taxi light on the other side. All right. Then we got V1 over here just enjoying the view, looking out the window. Oh boy. Got the excuse list already. I guess that's karma. All right, watch yours. We're going outside. Look at this livery. I love the fact that it's kind of a brushed aluminum. It's not chrome. It's just they've captured the look of kind of matte aluminum. And I think it looks fantastic. And then the grime back here at the tail looks fantastic. All right, back inside. Okay. So Raiders above 13, we got that made. So we're going to black. We're going to dump this chart and start getting ready for the arrival. Yeah, Steven, I agree. I kind of wish that the same artist would make the old school American livery, which is, you know, with the red, white, blue stripe down the window line. I think, yeah, American had 737s in that livery. They had to, yeah, before they went to their current one. Angel. Raiders above 13 wins impossible. Alright, got the Angel. We're doing the ILS 25 left. Pin that. And we'll get the airport 10-9 page. There we go. No winglets win. I know, right? Like, just imagine this view without the winglet. I think there's a view behind, actually behind the wing. Yeah, here we go. There we go. You know, I know this model hasn't really been updated since FSX, but it holds up. It holds up. Time for a hot take. Winglet's good. Nope, you're dead to me, Steven. I mean, I guess on some models, on the 800 and 900, they look good because they make the wing a little bit longer. But on the 700, I don't know. On the 700, you can't have winglets. It's a tweener on the 800. I'll give that to you. Mickey, yeah, that's my favorite seat right there too. Also, you're away from engine debris, if you know. All right, there's 18,000 standard lights. All right, climb check. Altimeters are standard, and cross check. Climb check is complete. There's the top altitude. We'll go up to 26 for our cruise. All right, it looks like it's leveling at 19. VNAV outs will altitude intervene up to cruise. Should see VNAV speed and N1. Up we go. Banned in our industry one, yeah. Yeah, what's that tell you? I have 15 viewers and I've already banned one. That's how I feel about winglets. Yeah, vodka, lights on to 18. Airbus being the exception because the Airbus doesn't have, 320 being the exception because it doesn't have fixed landing lights. So everyone turns the retracts off at 10, and if you have fixed landing lights, you keep them on till 18. Oh boy. So this is going to be a quick flight because Shatner is the first point on the arrival and we're already there. Alright, we've got about 80 miles to get set up, so we'll dive into the approach for 25 left. Okay, 109.9. So let's set that up here. 1099. Inbound course is going to be 251. .251 is set. Going down to 304 feet. So this is model wrong. This knob doesn't spin free in the real. It's a toggle switch. And if you toggle it all the way over, it moves by tens. There's 304 set. Airport's at 128. That's set there. And let's see what the weather is. 260 at 8. Fog 292. Okay. They do now. The Neo has multifunctional lights. Multifunctional lights. So where are those? Are those on the nose gear or are they on in the wing group? I thought the 320 just had the fold down lights in the wings. Tim K, congrats on the inaugural stream. Thanks, man. Got to get back to work. Well done. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thanks for the support. I couldn't do it without you guys showing up, so thank you. All right, first thing I see on the Angel 4 speed restriction is 280 knots. We'll put that in the descent page. So we'll go 280 here in the transition. Then we'll double check all the points. So we should have, let's see, Shatner, Smash, and Salty. Smash. Shatner, Smash. There it is, Smash, Sally, Gleason. Okay, 280, 240, and 30. That's correct. Then Angel between 19 and 24. Angel between 19 and 24. Then Con above 17. And Boyle above 14. Finally, Circus 270, 12, 14. Okay, so that's all set. Gustavo, they're on the wing box. It will be default 320 XLR. Okay, I'll need to look that up because so do they still have retracts, or are they all in the wing box now? It's kind of sad. It's one of those things where I understand why everyone's getting rid of retractable landing lights. It's just more maintenance. 1,000 to go. It's just more maintenance headache probably, but it's just another one of those things that adds character to old airliners. They're going away. Okay, and then we're also going to check the approach and verify all the points on the approach, starting from Circus. So 270, we got that. It should be Crane at 10, Tarek at 9, Dymo 8, Bueller at 7, Gate at 5, Honda at 36, Giggy at 19, then down the runway. That looks good. Now we're going to do a couple things. We're going to take the runway and we're going to put that in the fix page. And we're going to draw a 10-mile and a 15-mile radius around the runway. I'm also going to delete these. And that will help us with our energy management going into LA. I don't know why, but the PMDG 737-900 sounds are a lot better than the 7 and 8. Yeah, I think it's funny. I feel like there are more differences between variants with the PMDG than I kind of would have expected. But Gustavo, they're flushed in the fuselage, removes one from the nose gear as well, and has multi-mode like RT on other configs. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Steven, yeah, maintainers live for, I mean, yeah, I get it. Having been on the other side of things, I understand making things simpler, but, you know, emotionally I like the moving parts. All right. So we will build it, which we did. We got 1099 twice in the right course. We built it in the box. We'll bug it. Flap 40, ref 139. Bugged it on the PFD. Brake it. We'll use brake 3. We'll use brake 1. Why not? Long runway. And we'll brief it up. So weather, we checked it. It's fine. 7 statute miles. Fog scattered at the surface, scattered at 4,500, so that's all fine. 2982. So the weather's good. For the arrival, it's the Angel 1. So we got that up. Speed restriction of 280. That's in the box. All the points have been checked. When they clear us down to the bottom, it'll be 270 knots, 12,000 in the window, and then that will join up with the ILS to 25 left. 1099, that's set twice. 251, that's set twice. We're going down to Jiggy at 1,900 feet. 304 for the decision altitude. Airport's at 120 feet. 150 is set, so we'll dirty up to our final configuration around 2,000 feet higher than this, so 2,200 feet. And then this is going to require something called lavs to the feather. So you can't just, when you get cleared for an ILS approach here, you can't just hit the approach mode and ride the glide slope in from, say, fueler, because if you do, you'll miss this altitude restriction at gate. You'll end up at like 4,800 feet at gate. We're coming up on top of D, so I'm going to spool down 12,000 for circus. So what you do is what we call lavs. So you'll pick a lateral mode. So in this case, we'll stay in LNAV, and then once we pick up the localizer, we can switch to loc. You'll set the altitude to the final approach fix, and then you'll go VNAV with the speed window open. That's the V and the S. And you'll use VNAV with the speed window to track all of these step-down fixes until we get to the final approach fix. So inside of Honda is when we'll arm the approach and then carry the approach on down. And we do that to make sure that we're honoring all these altitudes, which the ILS glide slope does not guarantee. All right, oh, we never let the passengers up. Oh well. We'll give them their PA, tell them we're almost in LA. So we're getting ready to get down. We'll check the recall. So the other thing with with the Boeing is this recall is important because the master caution will only light up on its own if there's a fault, a complete fault in the system. That's not right. 0.79 to 280. So, oh, I guess we were in airspeed. That's fine. So it's picking up 280 knots because we weren't high enough to transition yet. Gustavo, yeah, absolutely. If you don't respect the altitudes, you'll bust the Bravo. So if we had a fault on the overhead, for example, a zone temp controller or something, where we had only lost one of the two sensors, and so it was still working, but we had lost redundancy, the only way that we would know that is if we did the recall and then the light lit up and it went away when we canceled. If a light behaves that way, it's telling you that you've lost redundancy or you lost one of two systems. If the system lights up the master caution light, you've lost the system completely. And so that's why doing a recall check prior to topic descent is so important, because you want to find out about those issues prior to heading downhill. All right, down we go. Jets in descent mode, picking up 280 knots, and we're going to turn the VSD on so we can verify our progress, and we'll get terrain on as well. Oh, chat, you know what I almost forgot? Flight recorder. Can't forget that. All right, got the flight recorder up. Alright, so we're heading down 280 knots, jet's kind of struggling a bit to keep it, but we're following the path. Man, fuel's looking a little skosh. Didn't earlier it say that we would be able to shoot the approach in LA and then what would our alternate fuels? Yeah, we must have burned more gas somewhere because that we lost 1,000 pounds there. Oh well. No time to worry about it. Down we go. What do you guys think of the wing flex on the PMDG? I keep going back and forth on whether or not it looks realistic because the 7.3 does have kind of jerky wing flex in real life, or if it just looks like a low-res hack. Because Phoenix has super smooth wing flex, but I think the 320 has smoother wing flex in real life anyway. So I don't know. Can't decide. Good on the ground, but air no. Zebo is much better. Dude, I haven't flown the Zebo in... Maybe we should do a Zebo stream. What do you think? X-Plane 12 Zebo stream? I feel like it's straight. Yeah. It's probably... Yeah, it probably is from FSX. How's the 777? Is it better? I hope... I mean, if the 777 is better... Maybe they'll update this. Not that I know how it should look, but that's amazing. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like the 7.3 wing bounces a lot, and it's very, it's rougher than an Airbus wing. Or I guess it flexes more than an Airbus wing, but This does kind of look like a keyframe issue. 14 hours of A350 wing flex. Where are you going? Turk in US. Nice to see after PMDG. Okay, next stream we'll do the Zebo in X-Plane. I'm gonna need y'all's help getting X-Plane set up though, because I mean look at this view. Yeah, we flew right through the transition altitude. All right, we got 18,000. Here we go. Wings are coming on. Lights are coming on. All right, let's do a descent check. MSP RKSI. Where is that? Is that Incheon? All right, descent check. Altimeters. We got 2982. Cross check. Minimums are Barrow 304. Cross check. Landing data is flap 40, ref 139. First briefing is complete. Auto brakes are 1. Seatbelt signs are on. Pressurization panel is set. And the recall's been checked. Descent checklist is complete. Incheon. Yeah. Awesome, dude. I'm going to live vicariously through you because the food in South Korea is probably the best I've ever had. It's fantastic. Ew, X-Plane unsubscribe. For science, V1. For science. Ooh, one large update to the NG around the time they released the Max. Okay, all right. Missed the transition. We might get the list. Dude, I was distracted by the view. I mean, look at that. Like I've driven that road in real life. That's exactly what it looks like. Okay, flying to Qingdao, China. Oh, okay. Well, shoot. How's the food in China? I've actually never been to China. Okay, down the circus. We'll say that LA cleared us for the approach, which they'll do in real life. They'll clear you for the approach really far out. So we'll do the labs procedure we talked about. So we'll go LNAV for right now for the lateral mode. We'll set the altitude. We're VNAVing, and I'm going to leave the speed window closed for now, but we'll come back to it. I am going to let the airplane slow to 250 on its own when they release the MAX in 3 to 5 years. Yeah, I hope it's not that long. I mean, this is a great jet, but needs an update. Needs a little bit of love. I mean, it's pretty good, but I do think that Phoenix has kind of taken the airliner sim and Microsoft to the next level. But maybe when Phoenix releases their 737, PMDG will step their game up. Need Phoenix to make a Boeing? Absolutely. So I did go to the local air museum and spent way too much time looking to see if I could find that panel that PMDG previewed, with no luck. So I don't know what PMDG has up their sleeve, but I agree that Phoenix needs to make a Boeing. Phoenix raised the bar on so many. Yeah, even the tablet, the Phoenix tablet, is just so much more user-friendly than this. I mean, this is a good Boeing sim, but you know, Phoenix just and the Phoenix wing is much better than this. Although good textures can take this a long way. All right, there's 10,000 feet. We're below 250. Here come the retracts, and we'll ding them for sterile cockpit. All right, approach checklist. Flight and nav instruments are verified. Cabin notification is complete. Altimeters, Magic Bear RFK 2980. Approach check complete. Rather have them make it 330. Ooh. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'm sort of shocked that we don't have a good 330 in any sim. Was there a good one for P3D? I don't think there was. Like, have we ever had a good 330 sim? Center up the head and bug. IMKZ, ILAX. Okay, so this you got to be careful of. So we're picking up a localizer that is not correct. This is IMKZ, and the chart is ILAX. So we don't want to engage localizer and pick this up. So let's keep an eye on that. But this needs to say ILAX. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we need ILAX before we can select the loc. ZSOL, do you not blank the lower MFD in rail? We do not. No. I know flight deck to Sims operator, they blank the lower DU, you know, like that, so that it pops up in the case of an emergency. But my operator does not do that. All right, so we're still waiting on a loc here. And it said steep descent after gate. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop the speed window up. And we're going to start slowing to 210 knots here. All right, thrust is at idle. Speed's coming down, and so this is cool. There's a little green dot that will show up here that essentially tells you where you're going to meet at your current descent rate the speed that you have plugged in. And since I don't see it, that means that we're going to hit gate faster than 210. So I'm going to use a little bit of speed brake to help slow us down here. And you can see that green dot. So if I want to make 210 by gate, I can just pull the speed brakes until that green dot is roughly at gate. All right, here comes flap 1. Okay, we're going to start the recorder. All right, so we want to cross this 15 DME fixed rig, roughly 210 flap 1, and then 10 miles about flap 5, 180-ish. If we can do that, if we can hit both those, our energy is under control. All right, there's ILAX, so we can select localizer. And you can see the localizer preview here, the hollow diamond, so we're on the loc, so here comes more loc. So we have a lateral mode, altitude is final approach, fixed altitude VNAV with the speed window open, so we're set. And then inside of Honda, once we've made our final altitude restriction, then we can go ahead and arm approach. All right, so speed's coming back to 180 now. All right, flap 5. Okay, so we're going to be slightly above the glide slope here as we cross Honda. And so you can see that if we had been on the ILS glide slope, then we would we'd be a little low. We may have made 3,600, but depending on the temperature, you may not be. So, okay, Honda is behind us, so we can go approach mode now and see if it'll grab the glide slope. There it goes, glide slope 2 for the mist. All right, we're still fast. A little bit of speed brake to help it out. Okay, we'll go flap 10. Okay, speed brakes back in. So we're dirtying up at 2,200 feet. Done with the speed brakes, so we're going to arm it. Chat, this might get spicy. We'll see if we break out. Yeah, 250 until 4 TME on your OE trip. All right, there we go. Gear down, flap 15, speed checks. We'll go command speed. Continuous, we'll say we've been clear to land. Alright, flaps 25, speed checks. Go ahead and set ref. Ref is 139, so we'll start with 144. Flap 30, speed checks. on, speed. All right, there we go. Flap 40 and landing checklist. Landing gear down. Flaps are 40, 40, green. Start switches are continuous. Speed brake is armed. Name check complete. Mickey, no. Boards can only be used out to flap 10. And then after flap 10, you gotta put them away. But your typical gear down setting is gear down flap 15, so the gear usually takes care of the drag. All right, we got 1,000 feet. Clear to land, Mr. Perch, altitude is set. All right, here we go. Click it off. Flight recorder. Yep, got the recorder going. What is this, amateur hour? Come on. Of course we got the recorder going. All right, got the runway in sight. A little high, a little fast.
500. Approaching minimums. Minimums.
All right,
100.
outside on the Pappy.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Close them out, hold the attitude. There we go, we're down. Reverse. Speed brakes up. Alright, 80 knots. Add reverse, manual brakes. And we'll take this next one. All right. All right, we'll say that ATC cleared us across the inboard. Flaps coming up, gears coming up, or flaps coming up, speed brakes coming in. Weather radar off, and start switches. All right. And we'll join the taxiway here. Up and after when able. And we'll start the engine cooldown timer. All right, let's see, after landing checklist, the engine start switches are, they're off, flaps are up, now they're up, speed brake is down, and the radar is off. After landing check is complete. All right, we're going to stop the recording here. All right. Oh, man. I totally spaced the chat. Here we go. How'd we do? Big smash. Oh, ye of little faith. Let's see. Oh, Mickey, you can't use the boards with any flaps? Really? I guess that kind of makes sense because it actually shakes the airplane quite a bit. So I'm kind of surprised we can, to be honest. But let's see. We're going to gate, whatever this gate is up here. So got the list going. I think that was a good one. Revert to instinct and hit the 3-wire. I think we were legal and good. We'll see. We'll see what the flight recorder has final say. All right. Oh boy, gonna hit a fuel truck though. If they fix that in 24, that'll be fantastic. All right, APU is coming up. So barely legal is what you're telling me, Team Vodka. One hole first off. All right, generator, APU generator is up, but we're gonna leave it off until we get shut down at the gate. Hey, chat, help me out here. If I shut this thing down, will recorder work? Could float another 1,000 feet. Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. All right, here we go, coming right. All right, don't blind the lineman. And I'm going to go out and cheat because I don't taxi. I have people for that. All right, park and brake. Brake set, let them up. Swap them. And chop them. All right, then we'll go turn everything off here. All right. Run that up. Flight directors come off. Set the trim to 5. And transponder comes off. It'll work. But it'll be shut down. So set the panel state before. Okay. So let's do the shutdown checklist here real quick. So the parking brake is set. Fuel pump switches, we got one on. Seatbelt signs are off. Window heat is off. Probe heat's off. Anti-ice is off. Electric hide pumps are off. Air conditioning panel is set. Anti-collision light is off. Engine start levers are cut off. Transponders is standby. Shutdown checklist is complete. Okay, so it'll work, but it'll be shut down so you can set the panel state before recorder. Oh, got it. Okay, so instead of getting the trucks and everything out, we will go to panel state. And final. Do the flaps work? Guess we'll find out, huh? All right. Don't have any doors open or anything, do we? All right. What do we have? We had lights. I think that's good enough, yeah? All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's go replay. 80 knots. Oh boy. That's not good. I don't think we had the gear down yet, did we? Oh, I got to do all the... I have to do the gear and flaps and everything? Flap lever? Okay, got it. Oh, okay, so I need to run the gear and the flaps, huh? Should show what's going on. Okay. Let's see. Let's scoot a little bit closer so we don't watch the whole thing. Let's do that. Okay, well we definitely had some flaps out, so we'll just go from here. We'll do this. This is a Southwest style replay. All the flaps all at once. At 500 feet. Some of the European. Yeah, and you know the funny thing is it's always funny to me how different. Look at the flap juice coming out. Whiskey, take notes. Look at this, man. I can't wait for Whiskey 7-3 liveries. Yeah, it's funny how it's the same airplane, but different operators operate them completely differently. Okay, so we got gears down, flaps are 40. Yeah, there we go. Catch up on the chat here. Yeah, Mickey, that's interesting that you can't use boards with any flaps in the 707. I wouldn't have guessed that. Do you have specific ground spoilers, or do they all come up with the spoilers, whether you're in the air or on the ground? Fake news. This is pre-recorded. V1, get out of here. Beginner's luck. That might be true. Yeah, diabetic land. That's kind of what I'm hoping, is that Whiskey releases greasy flaps and wings as a separate texture mod. This one's pretty good though. I'd probably leave this one alone. Fly Navy, run to the back of the plane on real flights for flap shot. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You got the freeway, and the flaps are out, and the wings bouncing around. This is cool. Add in a little bit of spoiler action. Oh, I got to arm the spoilers. Flat 40. Got a Discord yet? Coming. On the way. Look at this. Flare, a little bit of float, close the throttles out. A little bit of a smasher. It wasn't butter. All right, let's look at it from, see what we got from outside. Oh, look at that stab shake. Look at the stab. All right, we'll pause this, we'll run it back. Rip mirrors. All right, resume. Welcome out. We only use the outboards in the US. We have to hydraulically turn the inboards. Ugh. No wonder you have a flight engineer. That sounds like a lot of work. All right, here we go. Look at this. A little bit of a high flare. High flare, hold it. Okay. All right, I'll take it. Not the absolute smoothest, but I'll take it. Oh, where was our touchdown zone? Let's see. Firm but fair. Yeah, I'll take it. You know what? My toddler didn't get stuck in the 3-wire. The computer didn't lock up. This potato of a computer gave me decent frames. We're calling this one a win. All right, there's touchdown. Oh, plenty. Plenty. Look at that. All righty, guys. Well, hey, thank you for joining me on this inaugural full flap sim live stream. We'll keep playing the replay with some outro music, and we'll see you guys next time. Diabetic lad, I don't have a landing rate. I need to download that. So, alrighty guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate you. We'll see you later. Signing off.